Welcome to today's Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled we're diving into this because today we are completely stripping away the hype to look at the real, actual blueprint for building passive income in 2026. Look, if you've been anywhere online lately, you've definitely seen the flashy cars and those crazy overnight success claims. Well, we are tuning all of that noise out today. Instead, we're relying entirely on verified insights from Stickman Finance. We're going to dig into the exact mechanisms, the real-world examples, and the specific mindset you need to actually make your money work for you, instead of the other way around. So let me ask you, are you still trading your time for money? Because according to our sources, the exhausted baseline reality is that most of us are still stuck doing exactly this, trading our hours for dollars, day in and day out. It's basically a treadmill, right? The second you stop running, the money stops flowing. We really have to acknowledge this starting point, because feeling that exact pain point is what makes building a passive income machine so absolutely crucial. To give you the full picture, here is the blueprint we're following for this explainer. First, we'll examine the trap of trading time for money. Second, we'll do a 2026 reality check. Third, we'll explore the real vehicles for passive income. Fourth, we'll look at the power of reinvesting. And fifth, we'll wrap up with the patience and smart choices required to pull this off. All right, let's jump straight into Section 1, Trading Time for Money, the Traditional Trap. Our source material perfectly highlights the massive difference between our two options here. On one side, you have active income. That's you literally trading your time for a paycheck, hour after exhausting hour. It demands your constant presence. But on the flip side, we have the ultimate goal, passive income. And this is defined specifically as money that keeps earning with little daily effort. Now catch that word little. It doesn't mean zero effort forever. It just means the daily, hour-by-hour grind is finally removed. Your past efforts are basically working in the background while you sleep or travel or just live your life. Moving right along to Section 2, the 2026 reality check, debunking the myths. To really ground us in the landscape of 2026, we need to clear the air. Listen, passive income isn't some magic trick. It's money that continues to earn with little daily effort, specifically through systems rather than constant work. That word, systems, is doing a ton of heavy lifting here. A system is something you put the sweat into once, and then you let it run. It's the difference between carrying buckets of water from a river every single day versus spending a month building a pipeline. The pipeline is your system. Once it's built, the water just flows. But we also have to be real about what that pipeline is not. Our sources are super emphatic about tearing down these toxic online myths. True passive income is not magically created out of thin air. It's absolutely not some crypto gambling hype. And there is literally no way it's an overnight success. If someone is promising you massive wealth by tomorrow morning while you do nothing, they are selling you an absolute illusion. Doing this right in 2026 means ignoring the hype and focusing purely on the mechanics. Which brings us to Section 3. Vehicles for passive income, the real-world materials. Let's look at the actual materials you're going to use to construct this income machine. You've basically got three main avenues here. First, the safer and slower route, like high-yield savings accounts and bonds. These are super reliable, very low stress. Next, we have these system-based vehicles. Think of an automated digital product, like an ebook or a course. You build the whole shebang once, and it just keeps selling without you manually fulfilling orders. And finally, we have market investments, with our sources specifically pointing to dividend ETFs. Actually, let's zoom in on that last one for a second, because it is an absolute game changer for wealth preservation. The source explicitly states that dividend ETFs can pay regular income without you having to sell your investments. That is a massive paradigm shift. Instead of buying a stock, praying the price goes up, and then selling it off to get your cash, which obviously drains your resources, you keep the principal entirely intact. The fund simply pays you a cut of the profits on a regular schedule. You literally get to keep the golden goose while it just keeps handing you golden eggs. Now for Section 4, the power of reinvesting, the growth engine. Once you pick your vehicles, it's time to turn the engine on. And this visual shows exactly how that magic happens over time. Step 1 is your initial investment. That's the seed you plant. Now, when that seed produces fruit, you do not spend it. Instead of blowing that first dividend check on an overpriced coffee, you buy more of the asset. You feed it right back into the system. Over time, your initial investment is making money, and your reinvested money is now making its own money. This compounding effect is what transforms a tiny trickle of cash into a massive, self-sustaining machine. And finally, Section 5, Patience and Smart Choices, the Required Mindset. You see, you can have the absolute best vehicles and a flawless compounding strategy, but if your foundation is cracked, the whole system just falls apart. I really want to emphasize this quote directly from our source material. In 2026, passive income is built, not magically created. That word, built, implies serious action. It implies a blueprint, raw materials, effort, and time. Just like a physical building, you are out there laying bricks down one by one. It requires a deliberate architectural approach to your life. Because it's built and not just magically conjured up, this entire system relies on three non-negotiable pillars: consistency, patience, and smart choices. Consistency means you keep showing up, you keep reinvesting, you keep tweaking that online business. Patience is mandatory because, like we said, this is not an overnight thing. Compounding takes time to really show its explosive growth. And smart choices mean selecting the exact right vehicles that actually fit your specific life right now. To wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a thought to chew on. You've got the blueprint, you know the vehicles, and you understand the mindset required. So, what system are you going to build today? Thanks so much for joining me, and hey, go start laying down those first few bricks right now.